firing first.
How are things on Sac Ave?
Gotcha. Just finished, I guess this was practice 8. It was really good this morning. So I would say the last practice was a little sluggish for us. And I thought guys responded really well. We had a recovery day yesterday. I think they needed that. We had gone 24 periods, 25 periods, and then had that recovery day. Guys obviously handled that the right way because I thought energy was really good today, and it looked like some good football out there.
How much is that tradition you guys have built with some of your high draft picks? How much does that build on itself over the
well, number one, it helps in recruiting. So I've been places out on the road recruiting, and I'll be in California on the West Coast, and somebody will say, UH, yeah, Sac Ave. I know about Sac Ave. I mean, it has somehow kind of got out there nationwide, but we had some draft picks. We've rushed the quarterback at a high level. I know you guys know we were 6th in the country in sacks 2 years ago. Last year, if you just look at the sacks, that fell off a little bit because of how fast the ball comes out now when people play us, but our pass rush efficiency was top 5 in the country as far as how we're affecting the quarterback. So we've done that at a high level. I know you guys have talked to Dave that transferred from OU. It's part of the reason that he's here. He's a Houston kid. He's heard it. He knows we develop guys here, and that's part of the reason that he's here. And we built a really good room. We've got some competitive depth, and that's kind of when we talk about Sac Ave, we talk about more than one person. I mean, it's an entire unit, and if one of us is successful, the whole unit's successful. So, we can stay healthy. We've got a lot of really pieces that I've been really pleased with.
Sean, how do you mentioned 2 years ago the sacks and then last year with everybody.
Right.
Is there a way to neutralize what other people do to help you kind of get back on the or not to give away the secrets, but just sort of the approach?
Right. You hit on it. Yeah, there's things you can do. You don't want to talk about schematics and things like that, but people can't beat you with quick game. If the ball's coming out that fast, they can't beat you doing that. If you just don't allow big plays and you're doing things offensively, it's going to be hard to beat us if you just do that. At some point, and especially if we're putting points on the board and people are having to have some chunk plays and make up for 2 scores, eventually they're going to have to throw that thing. And I feel good about our front and how we'll get after people. We talk about you got to earn the right to rush the quarterback. So it's all about playing really good defense, solid run defense on first down and on second down. And I think guys are buying into that. So
you're here to develop and get these guys, but whether it's the marketing stuff with Sac Ave, that comes through some other channels and stuff that comes here. Having a front row seat is better. You even a little surprised at how that took off and how you had guys like Peyton and Logan and coming through it, sort of strengthened with that reputation.
Yeah, it's like I said, I can be all over the place in recruiting, and there's some I'll be a place that I wouldn't think that would have heard about it that has. That part's surprising. The success that we've had that's not surprising. I mean, these guys work hard, and that's what we do. That's our job. Everybody on defense has a job. We want to shut people's run game down in between the C gaps. We want to set edges, and we want to try to get pressure with 4. And these guys buy into that. They understand that. Or if we continue to have the ability to get pressure with 4, then when you can put 7 in coverage, you got a chance to be successful on 3rd and long. If people make you bring that 5th and 6th guy, you're taking them out of coverage a little bit, and sometimes you don't want to do that, depending on what type of wide receivers that people have. So it's been a blessing, and I think that tradition is going to continue, and just hope that people continue to develop and that people stay healthy. I think you guys will like watching this bunch play.
Having arguably the deepest roster in your position you've had since you got here. You ever allow yourself to pause a little bit at some point, think about the first few years here and how difficult it was just to put?
Definitely not.
Appreciation there?
Right. There's definitely some appreciation. Just to reflect on when we got here. I remember going through that first spring and having 2 scholarship defensive tackles. Peyton Turner had just had some type of surgery or something, wasn't going through the spring, and I had 2 defensive tackles, and we're trying to switch from becoming a non-front team to an even front team, and that was quite a challenge. And now we've been here 5 years, and we're recruiting to 16 scholarship defensive linemen, and we've got 16 on scholarship, and you know there's guys that you're going to redshirt, and now you got guys you're going to move forward with. So you like to be able to keep 6 up and to be developing 2, you know, out of those 8 DNs and out of those 8 defensive tackles. And we finally got it where we've been in position to do that in the last couple of years. There's some players that are going to make an impact and play for us and contribute this fall that were redshirts last year, guys that we were able to sit on the side and develop. So you know, once you've been somewhere for 5 years, and if you look at my history, you know, I don't jump jobs, and I've usually the players that when I've been successful, which I've been everywhere I've been, you know, here we've been successful here but haven't won a championship. Everywhere else that I've been, we've won a championship. If I stayed more than 2 years, we've won with the guys that we recruited and developed. And that's the plan here, and now we're in position where we're doing that. So it's great to not start all over like we did in 19 and just, you know, add 2 or 3 pieces every year to, like you said, you know, there's, you know, we play so many people and we talk about strength in numbers that, you know, when people graduate like D'Anthony Jones and Derek Parrish, there's people that were backing them up that are playing. And, you know, you guys that have been around here a while, I don't know some of you, but I've known him for a while. Derek Parrish backed up the 1st round draft pick when we got here. You know, I mean, he didn't come out of anywhere. He was backing Peyton up. Peyton left, and that guy stepped into that role, and that stuff's going on right now. You know, so D'Anthony's gone, but there's guys that played a significant amount of plays last year, like Nelson Caesar, that are ready to step up and play in that role. So,
On Nelson,
Yep.
they told me today, for a guy that's coming off of a pretty good year,
Yeah.
he said that he felt like this was his chance now to
Right.
kind of take it. What have
Right.
you sort of seen that
Yeah.
they didn't believe that could happen?
Yeah, so first of all, Nelson's an incredible leader. Okay, so he's an alpha in that room and does things the right way. Extremely intelligent, works his tail off. Very rarely have to raise your voice at him. He does things the way they're supposed to be done. He's brought into that process since he's been here, and now he's reaping some benefits of the work that he's put in here, put in around here for several years. You know, what I think you're going to see from Nelson that's been the focus for us starting in the spring is a more explosive player. So we felt like he needed a little bit more first step explosiveness, and Coach Bauer trained him differently all throughout the offseason for that goal in specific, and you're seeing that now. It flashed in the spring. It's continuing to flash in fall. He's got a chance to be a special one. He left a lot of money on the table last year. There's some plays that he knows that he could have made if he'd have cleaned a couple of things up, and I think he's going to clean those things up and can be a double-digit sack guy if he stays healthy and continues to buy into that process.
You talked about, you know, winning championships.
Yes,
what,
sir.
what would that mean to you to win one here?
Yeah.
You said you stuck
I
around.
mean, that's always the goal, you know. You know, we're in the Big 12 now, but I mean, we're not afraid to compete with anybody. And you know, if you don't go into every game thinking that you got a chance to win, you got zero chance to win. So we're going to try to get these guys prepared and coach them up, and we're going to go shoot our shot and see what happens. To be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of teams yet in the Big 12, maybe the first couple that we play. So not really concerned with that. If we just continue to focus on ourselves and our development, we'll be where we need to be when it's time to be there.
Who's the next-
Players backing up guys in front of them that move on.
Right.
A couple guys early
Yep.
maybe that you've seen that
Yeah.
are in the running for that this year.
Sure. I'll give you a couple of examples there. So, you know, let's talk about a guy, Nadane Tucker, okay, that last year we redshirted, okay, that's had a chance to be here now for going on his 2nd year, and there's a lot of development that's taking place. That's giving us some quality play right now. Talk about a guy, Zy Strong, okay, that's as physically gifted as Peyton Turner. He's 6'6", he's 270 pounds, he's freaky, twitchy, extremely athletic. He's got 2 years left to play here, so he's learning how to play like those guys did, but he's got that type of talent. You know, so there's a couple examples for you, and then of course, you know, Nelson started some games for us, but he's also backed up Derek Parrish a little bit. And you go back to how that worked out. That 3 deep 3 years ago was Peyton Turner, Derek Parrish, Nelson Caesar. You know, those guys at that same position, but Cease is now, he's such a smart player. He has such a high football IQ that he plays on both sides, which will help us too, because there's some transfer kids I'm excited about that are here on the edge. Brandon Mack, you know, that came from Ole Miss, and of course David that came from OU, that are bringing some stuff to the table there that I really like. So there's a lot of pieces. I don't want to leave anybody out. You know, out there on the edges, I'm trying to think through that depth chart a little bit. But there's some Justin Beatles is another guy that's been a young player that's got that that Power 5 body type, you know, that you want. It's got that length. He's 6'5", he's 265 pounds, and he's a little inconsistent right now, but there's some flashes, you know, every now and then that you feel like he's going to be able to help us a little bit. You know, and then when you look inside, there's some guys in there too, you know. Yeah, obviously Chidozie's back. He started for us for several years. A.J. Holmes has come on and is a complete player that we feel like can rush the quarterback and stay on the field on third down. But he's extremely stout at the point of attack, and he's a really good run player too. At that 3 technique position, Jamari Caldwell is probably the most talented interior guy that we have here. He's 6'3". He's extremely twitchy. He's 330 pounds. He can rush. He's a load when you know, he's got to get in a little bit better shape, but he's hard to handle when he's fresh. There's some other kids in there too. Ced Williams is back for another year. You know, he's had some things that have been you know, frustrating for him in his career with some injuries, and it got him that extra year, and now he's older and wiser and better, and is also flashing all over the place in practice. You know, Chidozie is what he is. We've got Asi Longi, who is also playing nose that we redshirted last year. To answer the question you asked, he's 6'6" and he's 305 pounds. You know, that's fighting for that number 2 spot. You know, with a solid walk-on that we have from Katie here named Hakeem. I don't want to butcher his name, but Jajalaya, all right, that is competing for that spot in there too. And there's an Ole Miss transfer that's had a really good camp that we've been surprised with. It's Talik Robbins, that came from Northeast Mississippi, that's really flashed and is doing some good things too. That in 20 days, I feel like we can get him ready to help this team win some games.
You have
So
something?
I'm throwing a lot of stuff out
No,
there.
that's fine. With obviously a few more here, have you been able to keep up with you guys at camp?
Trying to get you in there.
Yeah, not as much as I would like to. Derek did call. I know Derek is itching to play defense. You know, and hey man, those guys drafted you to play fullback. You need to buy into that and get on all of those special teams. So you know, that's just Derek. But I haven't been able to really talk to Logan or PT or Anini. You know, Anini's with his 4th team now. You know, he's in Arizona now, so he's where Tony is. And you know, he had such a good preseason camp a year ago as an undrafted free agent that, I mean, he's been signed by 4 teams now. And he's finding a way to stay in the league. So, but I haven't. I know DeAnthony Jones had that 3-sack day. I definitely heard from him. You guys know how he is. So I knew I would hear from him when that scrimmage was over, and I think he's doing well.
Brian, with David and Nelson,
Yeah.
the ability to have them both on the field at the same time,
Yeah.
then you could have Zion.
Correct. Right.
How does that dynamic work?
Yeah. No, there's you know, we're trying to find those pieces that have some position versatility. It's what I told you about Caesar. Right now, him and David are playing the same position a lot of the time, and then there's some packages that we get in where they're on opposite sides of each other. So guys are double learning stuff. You're talking about 2 highly intelligent football players. They got a really high football IQ, and that's going to allow us to get them on the field at the same time. Yeah.
Did you do take a big step in the spring just with
Yes.
just sort of
Yeah.
maybe even all?
He did. Yeah, he's grown tremendously off the field since he's been here. I'm so proud of him from that standpoint. It would not shock me. These guys will probably vote for 2 or 3 more team captains in a few weeks, and it wouldn't shock me if he was one of them. That's kind of the guy that he's become. He's really good in the room. Really proud of his growth and maturity off the field. But yes, he's still developing as a player as well. And you know, I think he wants to be a dominant player and show up and make more plays. And we got to do a good job of putting him in some single block situations and giving him opportunities to make some plays. You know, he's doing some impressive stuff that probably only me and his parents see. You know, but if we put him in some one-on-one situations, the whole stadium will get to see what that guy can do.
You know, Big Sub's watching.
You know, Big Sub was. Yes, he's probably written a song about it. Yeah.
Coach, what about AJ? I saw him a couple days ago, and he looked like a whole different guy. I mean, big.
AJ's been impressive. He's had a really good camp. He had a great spring. So stout at the point of attack, so violent. He's another guy that we've just been trying to get him to work on that first step explosiveness. He's a powerful dude, plays with really good leverage. He's a freshman, guys. We played him in 4 games. He started games around here and still has 4 years left to play. Really pretty pleased with his progress. He's going to be a big-time player for us.
Coach.
Yep.
How about just keeping these guys here? I mean, you got Ed Oliver, Peyton,
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
all these guys came from Houston.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, what does that mean to you that they come back here, they stay home, and they represent their hometown?
That's awesome. You know, and I think that's going to become a tradition. You look at guys like Chidozie, that chose to stay here. You look at guys like AJ that chose to stay here, that's from the city. You look at a guy like David that chose to come back here and play here. That's fixing to become the standard around here. You know, these great D linemen in this state that are going other places are fixing to stop going other places, and they're going to want to be here. And you know, a lot of times until you've built something and you've had success, people don't want to believe in it. All right, but don't sleep on us. All right, and we're going to get some of these in-state D linemen, in-city D linemen, to start staying at this place like AJ does, and the one that's committed to us now.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, man.